Go Jackets.
Wreck, did you not just see that chat? What chat? Georgia Tech. Which one? Which one are you talking about, BC? The one that says Georgia Tech should have kept Paul Johnson. Wing T is hard to prepare for, especially in 1 week. Respectfully, I don't think Georgia Tech will ever be able to recruit at a high level. But then again, you're in the ATL. I'm done. Let me get a water. Let me get a water. Let's break that apart for a second. And I love you, and there's nothing wrong with loving Paul Johnson. Paul Johnson's a Hall of Fame college quarterback or college coach. Here's the thing. If you're conceding that recruiting at Georgia Tech is really hard, what else would be an impediment to recruiting? Running the triple option. If you run the triple option, can you talk to a Jeff Sims? Can you talk to a guy like, I don't know, Graham Knowles we just signed, Aaron Philo, any of these good quarterbacks? Can you even make an offer or have a conversation with a Deshaun Watson or a Trevor Lawrence? No. So you're saying you're waving the flag like we're just never going to recruit well, and then put another brick wall impediment to recruiting up. Like, I'm sorry, I love you, buddy. It doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't. All right? And the thing is, or Jahmyr Gibbs, because in the triple option, you don't have a featured back. So you're never going to land a guy like Jahmyr Gibbs. And I think what has happened is people look at what happened under Jeff Collins, and a lot of people that are a part of this kind of old school mentality are like, see, this modern shit just doesn't work. It will never work. And that's nonsense. By the way, stop audio off. What's going on, C-Dog? Welcome to the Georgia Tech live show. You caught me when I'm going off on a rant here. I don't know if you saw that.
No. I've been booting up my computer, and I guess I have a hard HDD and not a SDD, and so it makes it slower to start up, and it takes like 30 minutes to start my computer up if the power goes out. So,
okay,
like literally takes the thing 30 minutes to start up and load into this.
You need what do you call them? One of those M2 drives, man.
I need something because it is horrible. And the one I have at work, it just boots right up within seconds and it's ready to go. And everything else on this PC is like really, really good. So I want to get that fixed, whatever it is. But I'm not like a super computer guy. You know?
So I just went off on this rant. Let me read. Basically, this guy saying, unless Georgia Tech runs a triple option, like we're never going to be able to have any semblance
not
of
that
success.
Again. Come on.
WreckTalk, if Paul Johnson had Jeff Collins' 2021 roster, he would have won the ACC. Yeah, so if you just set aside recruiting and say, hey, we're not going to worry about recruiting and let someone else recruit for your first year, yeah, probably. What do you do after that?
No, he's probably right. If Paul Johnson would tear up the ACC with this roster, but the problem is the recruits we have now, the people on our roster now, don't want to play for a triple option. You think Jahmyr Gibbs would have ever come here, ever, if we were running the triple option? No.
Yeah.
No. Paul Johnson's biggest successes were with recruits he didn't recruit.
Yeah.
It is what it is. And they were and we ran it for too long. It was way past its prime. I don't think our videos on the
yeah, I'm working on it. I don't know why I don't know why it's doing this. Hold on. But go ahead.
We were never going to be able to recruit these players. Triple option in this day and age is literally for schools that can't recruit.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, now he's like, well, what has it gotten you? And I was saying, like, you can't even have a conversation with a guy like Trevor Lawrence or Deshaun Watson, and they're like, well, what are you going to do? You don't have NIL money. I'm like, I get it, but I'm not saying we're going to land those guys. The point being, you can't even have a conversation about them or have an
What are you
outside
talking
chance.
about? What talent gap? You just got done saying, or this other guy just got done saying how good of a roster we have and how good our recruiting is now. What talent gap? There are plenty. Right now, as it stands, Georgia Tech has a top 25 class. You can be competitive. There's no talent gap with a top 25 class. Okay? There's plenty of teams that recruit outside of the top 25 that are competitive, but we're recruiting inside of it with Brent Key. And Jeff Collins was too until he started losing all those games. Well, Brent Key, you know, a lot of people pointed to Jeff Collins' failures as some kind of proof that Georgia Tech has to run the triple option. We can never be competitive without it. Jeff Collins' failures were because he didn't know what he was doing. Okay? Brent Key took over that very same roster and immediately improved everything about the team. Immediately. It was clear that Jeff Collins had no idea what he was doing. Okay? And if you still have doubts, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I guess I get it if you haven't been paying attention to Georgia Tech. I guess I would get it in that case. But, I mean, he took over. Jeff Collins, if he had stayed our coach the entire year last year, probably would have maybe won one more game. And the fact that Brent Key was able to get to 5-7 with two quarterbacks being hurt is insane. And for those of you that still don't believe it, well, you'll just have to see this year. You'll just have to see this year.
I mean, I thought, I'll be honest with you, I thought we were beyond this type of thing. Like, let me look back through the chat. I haven't. I will say, though, Paul Johnson proved he could recruit decent players. What about Justin Thomas, Darren Waller, DeAndre Smelter? Yes, he did recruit decent players. But let me ask you this. All of the teams that are finishing top 10 every year, what do they have in common? Do they not also generally recruit in the top 10? So are you just going to concede, well, Tech should never be a competitive program?
I mean, Paul Johnson's recruiting and wins and everything fell off towards the end of his time here. And it's like, you can blame that on whoever you want to blame it on. I mean, he didn't have the buy-in from the administration that Brent Key has now. But
this is a Tennessee guy, it looks like to me. Okay. Sorry.
But there's also another guy in here, too, Mid McDonald.
Well, I mean...
But, I mean, still, the both of you. What would change your mind? I mean, if we went, I mean, we already have a top 25 recruiting class. They had top 25 classes. Jeff Collins had top 25 classes before he started performing horribly on the field. What would it take to convince you that Georgia Tech can recruit really well? I mean, I guess a 7-8 win season with talent that's not a triple option team. Because I've been hearing this from people like Georgia Tech will never be able to make a bowl or whatever without the triple option. It's just silly. It's silly.
BC Jacket started this. I just saw in the chat, he's like, did you see that? I was like, hold on, what? I literally got up and walked away. I had to go get water.
I have to go get water now, too, and a hat because my hair looks stupid. It's like in an awkward stage right now where it's like my hairline. I didn't notice this because my hair is long, but my hairline doesn't look as good as it used to. That's concerning. I'm only 25, man.
I know.
All right, let me get some water.
All right. DW says we need NIL money to recruit in the top 10. We don't have that. Agree. I am a huge critic of the way NIL is being handled at Georgia Tech. But I was making a point that if you're just going to concede to the triple option and think that, oh, but we do have good players, we're not going to be competitive with the best teams with a few good players. It's just not going to happen. If Bama were to grab Key, that would mean we are doing very good. I don't think Key's not the one I'm worried about leaving. In fact, I think Key is he might be the only guy we could hire if we were very successful consistently, and by that I mean a top 10 team that wouldn't leave. I really believe that.